There are nights when the silence feels heavy, when unseen enemies whisper in the dark, and fear walks through the corridors of your mind. You close your eyes, but your heart keeps running, wondering who is plotting against your peace. You've been misunderstood, attacked without reason, wounded by words you never deserved. But tonight something changes, because the God who sees in secret is rising to expose every lie spoken in the dark. The same God who hid David in the day of trouble will now hide you under his wings. Stay until the end of this prayer, because before this night ends, God will reveal what's been hidden and fight what you cannot see. There are nights when you feel something shifting in the air, an invisible tension that words cannot name. You sense the weight of unseen forces pressing against your peace. You don't understand why your heart races even in silence, but deep inside your spirit knows a battle is unfolding beyond what eyes can see. In that invisible field, God begins to move. He doesn't wait for the alarm to sound. He arrives before the first attack. The moment darkness plots, light prepares its defense. Tonight, God steps into the room you thought was empty. His presence fills the corners where fear once hid. Every whisper that rose against you now faces divine interruption. Heaven does not negotiate with lies, it exposes them. And before the enemy completes his sentence, God says, "Enough." He takes your trembling heart and places it behind his shield. The commander of heaven has entered your situation. You may not hear thunder or see fire, but make no mistake, heaven is awake. God has dispatched angels with your name written on their armor. They move silently through the night, sealing every entrance the enemy tried to open. No curse, no plot, no shadow will pass through what the blood of Christ has covered. The same voice that calmed the storm now stands between you and destruction. You are not abandoned. You are surrounded by grace. Every fear bows at the sound of his name. The Lord looks at your enemies, not with surprise, but with sovereignty. He was never unaware of their schemes. He simply waited for the right moment. He lets darkness expose itself before he strikes. Because when he acts, there is no doubt that it was him. Your vindication will not come from argument, but from evidence of his hand. Heaven doesn't rush, because justice is not fragile. And tonight, God himself is writing your defense. When David said, "The Lord is my light and my salvation," he wasn't surrounded by peace. He was surrounded by threats. But he knew something that fear could not comprehend. When God enters, darkness must retreat. That same truth covers you tonight. You may be in the valley, but the valley is glowing with divine light. Because where his name is invoked, no enemy can hide. Imagine the invisible, angels standing at every door of your home. They guard not only your space, but your spirit. They fight wars you never see, cancel attacks before you feel them. And while the world sleeps, heaven doesn't rest. The Lord is not far. He is closer than the air you breathe. He surrounds you, watches over you, and whispers, "Peace, I'm here." The very presence of God turns battlefields into holy ground. The storm may roar outside, but inside your heart, his voice speaks calm. He says, "Do not be afraid of what you cannot see, because what's hidden from your eyes is visible to his." Every shadow that tried to claim your name is now facing divine exposure. The Lord has drawn a boundary around you, a line that darkness cannot cross. And every plot against your peace is unraveling in his light. For the Lord has entered, and the war begins to end. In the unseen realm, trumpets sound, not of warning, but of victory announced before the fight. The enemy thought he was early, but God was already there. He stands in the center of your fear and declares, "This place belongs to me." Every weapon forged in secret now rusts under his glory. The plans meant to break you will now break themselves. And the night that was meant to destroy you becomes your testimony. Because when God enters the battle, victory is decided before the first blow. Now lift your eyes, not to what's around you, but to who surrounds you. The Lord of hosts has taken position. He fights for the weary, the silent, the misunderstood. He takes your name and writes it upon his shield. You are not a target. You are his beloved. Every fear now kneels in reverence to his command. The Almighty has entered, and every enemy must flee. So rest tonight, not because the battle is over, but because the outcome is certain. You don't need to defend yourself. The defender has spoken. The same hand that formed the stars now guards your tomorrow. He steps into darkness, not with hesitation, but with fire. His footsteps echo through eternity, declaring your deliverance. You are safe because he is present. And when God enters, every hidden enemy is already defeated. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? These words rise like a candle in the night, steady, calm, unafraid. They are not poetry for comfort. They are declaration for survival. When David wrote them, he wasn't safe, he was hunted. But he chose faith over fear, light over shadows. That same choice stands before you tonight. You can let darkness speak, or let the light of God respond. The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? The psalm doesn't say, I am strong. It says, he is my strength. Because the safest place is not self-reliance, it's surrender. You've tried to hold it together alone, haven't you? But tonight, release it. Let the one who gave you breath be the one who defends it. When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. There's something powerful about that image, not metaphor, but motion. Enemies came, but they stumbled. They had energy, but no endurance. They rose with plans, but collapsed under God's presence. The same will happen to every scheme sent against you. They may approach, but they will fall before they touch you. Though an army should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. The battle may look large, but the victory is already measured. Because God doesn't count enemies, he counts promises, and his promises outnumber every threat in your life. Fear grows where memory fades. So remember what he's done before. That same God hasn't changed. You survived before. You'll rise again. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. Confidence is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's standing not in pride, but in position. When your heart aligns with heaven, the battle loses direction. The enemy can't target what's hidden in God. Confidence is not noise. It's quiet assurance that justice is near. The war may rise, but your soul remains still. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after. Here is the secret. David wasn't chasing revenge, but presence. He didn't ask for safety. He asked for nearness. Because when you dwell with God, no weapon feels relevant. When his presence becomes your home, peace follows you like breath. The more you seek him, the less you fear them. And in his presence, every storm loses its power, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. This isn't about a temple, it's about trust. A heart that dwells in God cannot be shaken by the world. You can be in chaos, but remain centered in peace. Because the true sanctuary isn't walls or altars, it's awareness. The awareness that you are never alone, not for a single heartbeat. You carry his presence even when surrounded by enemies. For in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. That's not metaphor, that's protection. It means God builds a space where your enemies can't breathe. He hides you not out of fear, but strategy. Because sometimes God conceals you to prepare you. He's not ignoring you, he's preserving you. And while they look for you, he's perfecting his plan. He shall set me up upon a rock. That's stability in chaos, clarity in confusion. God doesn't just hide you, he repositions you. He lifts you above the noise where accusations can't reach. Every lie loses oxygen when truth elevates you. That's why your peace annoys those who wanted to see you fall. Because when God sets you on a rock, you stop sinking in opinions. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. That's not pride. That's perspective. The same ground that once trapped you now becomes your testimony. Your enemies don't disappear. They simply can't touch you anymore. You rise not in revenge but revelation. The Lord doesn't just silence your enemies. He teaches you to sing again. And in that melody, the darkness finally understands. You were never alone. Now heaven begins to move, quietly, powerfully, like thunder hidden behind clouds. What you cannot see, God is already commanding. Angels are dispatched with purpose, carrying divine orders sealed by His word. They travel through the corridors of time, rearranging outcomes in your favor. Every lie whispered against you is being intercepted mid-air. What was meant to trap you will soon testify of His protection. Heaven is not waiting, it's responding. The unseen becomes more real than the visible. In the spiritual realm, the battlefield shifts. The forces of darkness tremble, recognizing the sound of His authority. Where the enemy shouted threats, now only silence remains. Because one command from God changes the entire landscape of war. The heavens thunder not in chaos but in control. You may not hear it, but victory has already been spoken. God doesn't need your strength to fight, and He needs your stillness. Because stillness is faith in motion. It's trusting that your defender does not sleep. Every anxious thought is a doorway the enemy tries to use. Close it tonight with prayer and peace. As you rest, heaven stands. As you breathe, the commander of hosts is already winning. The plans against you are now unraveling in confusion. Those who gathered in darkness now turn against each other. Because evil has no unity when truth arrives. The lies can't hold when the light of heaven exposes them. The more they speak, the more their words crumble. Every scheme turns into dust at the feet of your God. Because the Lord fights with justice, not with noise. Picture this, a courtroom in heaven. Your name is spoken, not in accusation but in defense. The accuser presents his list, but mercy interrupts him mid-sentence. The judge lifts his hand and declares, "Case dismissed. Your past cannot condemn what grace has redeemed." Heaven's gavel strikes, and the sound echoes into your tomorrow. That's the sound of divine justice, and it's final. Sometimes God lets the enemy speak first, only to show the power of His reply. Because His answers carry eternal weight. When He speaks, the atmosphere changes. He commands winds, hearts, and histories. Even what you thought was lost begins to align again. Heaven doesn't react, it orchestrates. And tonight it is orchestrating your breakthrough. The war you're in is not punishment, it's positioning. It's the process that reveals who stands with you. You were never meant to fight every battle, only to witness God's hand. When He fights for you, even your silence becomes a weapon. Every prayer you whispered is now echoing in heaven's chamber. Angels remember what you've said in tears, and God turns your cries into commands of victory. The darkness thought it had time, but heaven runs on eternity. Every delay you faced was divine strategy. God was not late. He was letting the trap collapse on itself. What they built for your harm will now expose their intent. Their whispers become confessions. Their plans become proof. And while they wonder what happened, you'll be standing in peace. Because heaven's justice never misses its mark. The moment you said, "Lord, I trust you," the heavens opened. That simple surrender activated forces beyond comprehension. The God who formed galaxies turned His gaze toward you. Not because you shouted, but because you believed. Faith is louder than fear in the language of heaven, and your quiet trust is shaking entire realms tonight. The unseen is moving because your heart refused to quit. Now the war begins to end, not with explosions, but with revelation. You'll realize it wasn't the enemy that was strong, it was your God. You'll see how every delay protected you from destruction. You'll understand that heaven's silence was never absence. It was strategy, divine, deliberate, victorious. And when you wake tomorrow, peace will feel different. Because heaven has already fought and won. Now that heaven has fought for you, a divine stillness fills the air. It's the kind of silence that doesn't mean absence. It means victory. The wind feels softer, the night less heavy. Because where war once echoed, now peace begins to sing. God's presence becomes the roof above you, the walls around you. He doesn't just fight your battles, He builds your shelter. And under His wings, fear has no permission to exist. Peace isn't the absence of storms. It's the presence of His shadow. When God covers you, the same fire that consumed becomes the fire that warms. He doesn't remove the storm. He calms your spirit within it. You can still hear the thunder, but it no longer rules you. Because the one who commands the lightning also guards your heart. He stretches his hand above you and whispers, "Rest now." And the world grows quiet before his voice. Every anxious thought begins to dissolve like mist before dawn. Your pulse slows, not because the problem disappeared, but because you've remembered who holds it all together. The Lord surrounds you with peace thicker than armor. Worries that once felt louder than prayer now fade into silence. You are hidden, not forgotten, but preserved. God's covering is not escape. It's empowerment through stillness. He hides you in plain sight. That's the beauty of divine protection. While the enemy looks for you in old places, you've already been moved. The danger passes by, unable to find its mark. Because when God says, "This one is mine," no darkness can touch you. His light doesn't just expose, it shields. And even in the middle of chaos, his peace remains unbreakable. You don't need to fight for peace. It fights for you. Under his covering, your mind finds rest from replaying the past. Those what-ifs that used to haunt you begin to lose power, because the future doesn't belong to fear, it belongs to faith. Every memory once used as a weapon is now redeemed as wisdom. You are not the same person who entered this battle. Something sacred has shifted inside you. You've learned that peace is not fragile. It's divine authority in disguise. Now imagine yourself in a holy pavilion, surrounded by golden light. Every wall of that place is made of promises that cannot break. God stands at the entrance, your eternal guard. He says, "No evil will enter, no lie will live here." The space feels warm, yet powerful, alive with unseen angels. You breathe, and heaven breathes with you. This is what divine safety feels like. Your rest tonight is not ordinary, it's prophetic. Because the peace you feel is a sign that heaven has intervened. God doesn't send calm without cause. He sends it as confirmation. Confirmation that the battle has shifted and the outcome is secure. He wraps you in his spirit like a weighted blanket of grace. You don't just sleep, you heal. You don't just close your eyes. You recover what was lost. Every prayer you whispered becomes a wall of light around your soul. Even your sighs are heard by the one who never slumbers. The night, once heavy with fear, now glows with the quiet of victory. You can almost feel heaven leaning near, listening, watching, protecting. The storm hasn't vanished. It's just beneath his control. And somehow knowing that is enough. Because peace doesn't come when the noise stops. It comes when you trust. In this peace, you'll rediscover your strength. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that endures. The kind that prays when others panic. The kind that forgives even while still bleeding. The kind that knows God never wastes a wound. Every scar you carry is now a mark of survival. And the peace that surrounds you becomes proof that grace has won. Tonight, you rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Not as a guest, but as a child at home. His hands, vast as eternity, cradle your fragile thoughts. The fear that once ruled your night has been exiled forever. You lie down and feel his promise breathe over you. You are safe. No weapon, no whisper, no shadow will stand against his light. This is divine covering. This is peace beyond understanding. Close your eyes now, not to escape, but to trust. Because when you sleep, heaven doesn't. God continues what your strength could not finish. While you rest, he rewrites the pages written against you. He visits the corners of your life that daylight never touches. He repairs what was torn, heals what was hidden, restores what was lost. Your silence is not weakness. It's his invitation to work. You may think nothing happens while you sleep, but the opposite is true. Angels move quietly through the night, carrying assignments of mercy. They surround your home, align your future, and guard your name. They fight wars you never knew existed and win battles you'll never see. Because the God who commands galaxies is not too distant to guard your rest. He sits beside your bed like a father watching over his child. And every breath you take becomes an act of worship. The night, once filled with uncertainty, becomes sacred ground. Heaven paints over your fears with peace, stroke by stroke. Each heartbeat echoes like a prayer answered. The rhythm of your breathing matches heaven's harmony. God is near, not as a visitor, but as a keeper. He is closer than the pulse beneath your skin. And even in dreams, his spirit speaks calm into your soul. While the world sleeps, divine justice continues its work. People may forget, but God's memory never fades. He restores your reputation, realigns your destiny, rebuilds what others ruined. He is the architect of redemption, drafting beauty from your brokenness. And in this quiet, unseen hour, his mercy moves like morning light. Your enemies may still whisper, but heaven no longer listens. Because God has already issued his verdict. Peace, be still. Rest tonight, knowing that your prayers are not idle words. They are seeds planted in eternal soil. And while you sleep, heaven waters them with grace. Every tear shed has its purpose, none of them wasted. Your rest is not just for the body. It's a prophecy for the soul. It declares, God is working even when I am not. You rest, but your faith keeps watch. Heaven's work is gentle, not hurried. It heals in silence, not spectacle. While your mind lets go, God gathers what's scattered. He brings order to chaos, forgiveness to memory, light to hidden corners. You dream, and heaven delivers messages in symbols of peace. You are being restored, even as you lie still. Because stillness in God's presence is not inactivity. It's transformation. Think of the dawn. It always comes without noise. You never hear the sun rise, yet it never fails. That's how God moves while you rest. You won't hear his footsteps, but you'll feel his results. The wounds you carried into this night won't weigh the same tomorrow, because his healing hand has already begun its work. Morning will reveal what midnight performed in secret. Some battles end not by fighting, but by sleeping through them. Because when you surrender, you confess his sovereignty. Sleep becomes sacred, a statement of trust. It's saying, I'm not afraid to close my eyes because God never closes his. He watches from eternity, counting every sigh as worship. And when the darkness tests your peace, his angels whisper your name. They remind every shadow, this one belongs to the light. So tonight, stop replaying the what-ifs, the could-haves, the pain of yesterday. The battle no longer belongs to you. You have done your part. Now let God do his. Let go of the sword and hold on to peace. Because the one who conquered death is perfectly capable of handling your fear. The war ends when you decide to rest. And the rest begins when you decide to trust. Now breathe deeply. Inhale peace. Exhale worry. Let the quiet become your sanctuary. Heaven is closer than it's ever been. The stars above are witnesses of his faithfulness. God is not distant. He's working within your dreams. He turns the night into a workshop of miracles. And by the time morning comes, you'll awaken into victory already won. The night is finally lifting, and with it, the weight you carried. The first light of dawn touches the horizon, and something within you shifts. It's not just the world awakening. It's your soul remembering who it belongs to. The shadows that haunted your sleep are gone, silenced by his glory. You open your eyes, and peace greets you like an old friend. The air feels new because heaven has rewritten your story. Morning has arrived, and with it, victory. You survived what was meant to break you. And not only survived, you were strengthened. Because endurance built in darkness becomes light unshakable. The same God who guarded you through the storm now leads you into calm. The silence of the night becomes the melody of morning. He doesn't just restore, he resurrects. And everything that died in fear now rises in faith. This is the promise of the morning, that no night is wasted. Every tear became water for your roots. Every prayer became seed for your harvest. Every unseen battle birthed visible blessings. What the enemy whispered in defeat, God transformed into declaration. You are not who you were before the night. You've been renewed. And the dawn is proof that heaven keeps its word. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. These words echo like sunlight, soft, steady, unstoppable. They are not advice. They are covenant. God is not asking you to survive. He's teaching you to soar. You waited, you trusted, and he answered. Not through noise, but through transformation. You are living proof that faith outlasts fear. Look at the sky now, how it glows without striving. The light doesn't fight to appear. It simply reveals what darkness hid. That's how God's justice arrives, quietly yet undeniably. He exposes what was done in secret, but covers you in grace. He lifts your head without lifting your pride. He honors you without humiliating your enemies. Because his victory is holy, not vengeful, the same dawn that exposes the wicked also restores the weary. You no longer need to defend your name, God already did. Those who mocked your faith will see its fruit. The tables have turned, but not by your hand, by his mercy. The night you thought would destroy you became your testimony. And now the world will see what happens when a soul refuses to quit. Morning light shines brightest on the faithful. As you step into this new day, feel heaven breathing with you. Every moment carries divine fingerprints, subtle but sure. Doors that once refused to open are unlocking in sequence. Conversations once filled with lies are turning into truth. Your steps are guided, your path cleared, your spirit steady. Because victory is not an event, it's a presence. And that presence walks beside you now. Remember, God's victory doesn't just change your situation, it changes your spirit. He teaches you how to love again, how to rest again, how to believe again. You begin to see his fingerprints even in your pain. The things you lost no longer define you. His promises do. And suddenly gratitude replaces grief. You start thanking him not just for what he gave, but for what he kept you from. The light of morning is mercy made visible. As the sun rises higher, the voice of fear fades completely. Because truth has taken its place. You realize that every night was part of a larger dawn, that no darkness was deep enough to bury your destiny. The light you feel isn't just around you, it's within you. Your spirit glows with the assurance that God is not done. He is only beginning what eternity has prepared. So rise today with peace as your companion and faith as your crown. Walk knowing that you are covered, chosen, and called. The same God who exposed the enemy has exalted your name in grace. No night can return to steal what the morning revealed. This is your divine closure and your new beginning. Say it softly but with power. The Lord is my light and my salvation. And let every sunrise remind you, victory always follows trust. And now, as the light of a new day breaks through, your heart knows it was never alone. The battle that once terrified you has ended quietly beneath the shadow of his wings. You stand, not in fear, but in gratitude. The same God who entered your night has carried you into dawn. Every unseen war has turned into unseen mercy, and peace, real peace, now lives where panic once ruled. You are not the same. You've been restored, renewed, reborn in his light. Let this moment stay with you, not as an emotional high, but as a sacred memory. Remember how he silenced the voices that accused you. Remember how he exposed what was hidden and healed what was broken. Remember that every breath you take is proof of his patience and purpose, and even when shadows return, they will find you anchored in his peace. Because once you've been covered by his presence, fear loses its language. So tonight, when the world grows silent again, don't be afraid of the dark. Because now you know who moves within it. The same God who revealed truth will continue to guard your rest. He will fight your battles while you sleep and awaken you with new strength. Every morning that comes will carry this same whisper, "You are mine." Let those words settle deep within you until they become your heartbeat, until peace becomes not a season, but your permanent home. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for fighting battles we could not see. Thank you for turning our nights into classrooms of faith, for exposing every hidden enemy and covering us in mercy instead of revenge. We surrender our fears, our exhaustion, our need to control. Teach us to rest while you work, to trust when we cannot trace you. And when the morning comes, remind us, you always win. Now, as this prayer closes, take one last deep breath. Let gratitude fill your lungs and release the last trace of worry. You've stepped through the valley and found peace on the other side. God has proven once again that his love never misses its mark. The shadows may return, but they will never rule you again, because your story has been marked by light forever. And where his light dwells, no darkness can stay. If this psalm spoke to your heart tonight, write Amen in the comments below. Declare your faith publicly. It's your way of saying, I trust God's timing. Share this video with someone who needs peace before sleep, because one prayer can change an entire night, and one night can change a life. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Daily Psalms for more nightly prayers and cinematic reflections that bring rest, renewal, and revival to your spirit. The Lord bless you and keep you. May his light expose every hidden darkness and guide your path to perfect peace.